Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Campbell, joined this hour by my good friend, Dr. John Deloney, best-selling author and host of The Dr. John Deloney Show. And we're taking your calls, America, at 888-825-5225. I know you've got a lot going on in your mind, and you're DMing me 1,000 questions, and I say, call the show, because it's a lot easier to talk to you in person than to go back and forth staring at my screen.
I get the same thing. Call the show, call the show, call the show. Hey, and I got to tell you, so Dave and the Entree Leadership team has their annual 2,500 to 3,000 business leaders. They take over a city, basically, and they're here in Nashville. And last night, they took over the entire Opry.
The Grand Ole Opry.
The Grand Ole Opry.
Epic.
It was a blast. There was all these different country singers and actors showed up, and comedians. It was a hoot. But I'm walking through the lobby with my daughter, and this guy comes up and goes, "Oh, hey, I just saw George Campbell too." He goes, "Hey, you're John Deloney. I just saw George Campbell." And I just instantly said, "George Campbell's the worst." He hit me. He punches my arm, and he goes, "I love how y'all just rib each other." And I said, "I don't think you understand. Like, I don't like anyway." And my daughter, the whole thing was awkward. Oh. But man, he was protecting him some GK, man.
People are very protective. I think it's because I'm small. They feel like they have to defend me.
Yeah,
you know?
they can't tell that over the phone.
That's true. Well, we really are great friends. People often wonder, does John actually like me? The answer is no, but we are really good friends, so that helps. So
I mean, I like you. You've grown on me.
Oh,
not literally, but
I have not
you've grown on me
since the 5th grade, John.
Yeah,
Thanks for the reminder.
Same size.
Well, hey, if you want to have some fun today, while the cat's away, the mice will play. Is that what they say? Okay. We're going to go to the lines now. I just shut John down.
There goes George making it weird.
Kendra kicks us off in Charlotte, North Carolina. Kendra, please save the Ramsey Show. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. A little backstory. My husband and I have, we've been through Financial Peace University, and we've paid off our debt several times in our marriage and been debt-free. And then we just seem to creep back into debt. So we're on baby step 2 again, and we're both on board, and we're working to pay off our debt, and we're following the plan. But I just have a lot of anxiety around it, and it's not that I don't want to be gazelle intense, but I'm just finding it difficult this time because I have such a fear of going back into debt again.
Who have you lost trust in, you or your husband?
Both of us in different ways at different times. I mean, I probably don't have a lot of trust in myself. I feel like when we've done this before, it's almost like the whole time we're in baby step 2, we're planning for what we're going to purchase when we're out of debt, if that makes any sense. You know, we kind of have a running list, and then, months, years later, that list becomes the things that put us back into debt. So
what kind of debt are you getting back into each time?
Credit card debt.
Okay, so have you ever cut up the credit card and closed the accounts? Or are you just paying off the credit card debt and then hanging on to the card?
We have cut up the credit card and closed the accounts before, yes.
And then you get out of debt and you go, we're going to reopen a credit card to make purchases.
Yes.
And then what are you spending that money on? Is there something in particular each time?
No, it's nothing that we need.
Is it online shopping? Is it Amazon? Is it Target? Give me something tactical here.
It's vacations, trips, things for the house.
And you guys don't have the money in the bank, and so you go, well, we'll just put it on the card.
Correct.
And what was the reason for getting out of debt the first few times?
Well, we don't want to be in debt.
But you do. But not really, kind of. Sort of. Maybe, yes.
But you want the stuff more than you want to be out of debt. And it's okay to say that out loud. But I think what we're experiencing here is there's a spending addiction.
Yeah. Can I take a shot in the dark?
Yeah.
Just say you're an idiot. No, you're wrong. Did one of you or both of you, have a rough go of it as a kid?
Yes.
Which one?
I did.
Give me 30 seconds of context about that.
I had a mom that had a sickness where she ran up a lot of debt, and a lot of it was in my name, using my Social Security number when I was a minor.
Was Dad around?
Yes.
So that meant the spending was the thing we all pointed at, but that meant you had a house that was chaotic.
Very.
And you watched your parents not be very stable together. Fair?
Yes.
It's very easy. And here's why it's a common response that when you grow up in that sort of chaos or abusive environment, the whole world becomes about for lack of better words, a fantasy into the future. This is going to be this thing. And you're always living for then, and it becomes virtually impossible to live right now. Because living right now is a skill, and living right now for you was terrifying. It was scary. It got you hurt. And so everything became about living then, even though in the present it's brutal. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've never thought about it like that, but yeah.
And so what you have to do is, this whole thing is an identity shift. You guys can do the thing. Y'all can do the hard thing. But you get to it, and then you start to, you live in the future. We're going to be out of debt one day. Then you get there, and you don't know what to do. So you default to your fantasy list, and you just start the whole cycle back over again. And then you give yourself a new deadline. So instead of giving yourself a new deadline, a new finish line, if you will, not deadline, a new finish line to achieve, give yourself dreams to move forward to. And this is going to have to be something that y'all practice. And it's going to start with an identity. We are a couple that never borrows money. That's who we are. That's in our DNA. That's in our bones. We don't do that. That's the only way, George, that's the only way I know of to not fall back. We're just not people. That's just not who we are. The same way as y'all would say, we're just not a couple that cheats on each other. We're not a couple that hits each other. We're not a couple that murders.
And it becomes a daily decision.
Yeah.
And that habit becomes a part of who you are. So, Kendra, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you every dollar premium so that you guys can get on a budget. That's only part of this puzzle. You need accountability because it takes two people to make these decisions. So you need to say, no, we're not going to open that up. Because remember, don't forget to remember how good it feels to pay off debt and not to go back in. And on top of that, freeze your credit with all the credit bureaus so that there's a stopgap from you opening up a new line of credit.
It's a big hurdle, yeah.
So cut up the cards today. You're going to pay off this debt. How much is left?
$30,000.
$30,000 in credit card debt on vacations and spending.
Yes.
Have a conversation with your husband tonight and say, never again is this going to happen. We're going to get on a plan. We're going to keep each other accountable. We're going to freeze our accounts. We're going to get on a monthly budget. And we're going to become those people who just say, if we don't have the money for it, we don't get it. That's called delayed gratification. And it's a huge part of building wealth and accomplishing your dreams together. This is The Ramsey Show.
Hey folks, you know that sinking feeling when you make an offer on a house you love and then you hear there's another offer? You need the Churchill Mortgage Home Buyer Edge. Super fast pre-approval and a secured interest rate. Plus a $5,000 seller guarantee gives your offer the best chance of being accepted. The Home Buyer Edge from Churchill gives you an advantage over those other guys. Go to churchillmortgage.com today to learn more.
Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, joined by Dr. John Deloney, and we're taking your calls at 888-825-5225. Well, good news and bad news. Our $10 sale ends today, but the good news is you still have a chance to get your hands on some of our life-changing books and tools. So if you're looking to get out from under that pile of credit card bills that eats up those paychecks every month, grab Dave Ramsey's best-selling book, The Total Money Makeover. Millions have used his practical plan in the book to take control of their money and change them and their family's future. It's only $10. And you can also get his latest book, Baby Steps Millionaires, for $10 as well, where he shows you how to build a legacy, how to invest the right way once you've paid off your debt. And there's a ton of real-life stories to inspire you of folks who actually did this stuff and became Baby Steps Millionaires. And if you want to improve your relationships and mental health, pick up my friend Dr. John Deloney's Questions for Humans conversation cards and his book, Own Your Past, Change Your Future, which is on the $10 sale for the first time ever.
Ever, yeah.
That's big. So if you've been holding out for a sale on that book, this is your chance. It ends today. Shop these deals before they're gone. Go to RamseySolutions.com/sale. That's RamseySolutions.com/sale.
Hey, I want to say something about this. So it's a $10 sale. I've had multiple conversations in the past few weeks with some sort of meta-narrative that sounds like this. And I know you've had it because it's about money. When people are reaching out to me about money, then I know it's on people's hearts and minds. Hey, man, they're going to barely pass this debt ceiling thing. And then the Supreme Court is going to strike down the student loan thing. And then they're all going to have to start repaying. And we're going to have this massive recession in October, September, August, right? That's just like and there's some variation of that story going on and on. First, I want to say I've heard some variation of some story every 3 months since I've started working here. There's always the
crash is coming, John.
You eventually throw enough darts backwards, you're going to hit bullseye. And everyone's going to be like, oh, that guy's a genius.
See, I said.
That's right. But let's say that is. Let's say you knew a calamity was coming in 3 to 5 months. Why would you not do everything you can, get every piece of information, data, come up with a plan right now to shore up things as much as possible in 5 to 6 months? If you are staring at 3 years you haven't paid student loans and it's about to come, and you're looking at your budget and you realize, whoa, I bought a car that I couldn't afford over the 2 or 3 year student loan holiday. I did this. I'm in a house I can't afford. Start right now. Start right now. If you call me and you're like, hey, there's a tornado coming your way and we live 10 miles from each other, I'm not going to wait until it's sitting on top of my house. I'm going to move my family down to the basement. And we're going to,
batten down the hatches.
We're kind of prepped for that moment, but we'll be ready to rock and roll, right?
Yeah.
And so all I have to say is this. If you're sideways, if you know somebody who's sideways, for God's sakes, $10. $10 for a total money makeover is a roadmap to, okay, I don't know any other thing that works. I clearly am not doing this right. $10 and I can go in a whole new direction. It just doesn't make any sense to me when you got this kind of, Dave starts giving all of our crap away for half price.
Yeah.
Not that I'm upset about not that I'm on 100% commission and he cuts the commissions in half. But like, man, if you for $10, you can hand it to your son or your daughter or your friend and say, hey, winter's coming. Just here's a coat, here's a jacket, just for that moment. I just don't understand the turtle up, and let's just all be scared and pissed off. Let's just start.
It's more fun to doom scroll and hope that you stumble upon the right advice, the right tool.
And the right advice is usually some fraudulent idiot saying something that's going to make them wealthy at your expense when times get bad. Don't do that.
Well, the good news is our books don't involve any shortcuts. It's all the long cuts in our books. It's do the hard thing the first time the right way so that you don't screw it up and then call us and say, hey, I did a dumb thing.
I saw Dave posted on his Instagram the other day. It was a video of him, 30 years ago.
Oh, yeah. 1995. That's when the video came out.
George's
interview.
He told a same joke that he told the other day when I was on the air with him. And I don't say that to make fun of him. I say that to say he's been saying the same thing for 30 years. And it works. It just works, man.
It works every time you work it. So don't miss this, whether it's for you or for someone in your life. RamseySolutions.com/sale. It ends today. All right, let's go to Joseph in Columbus, Ohio. Joseph, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you guys so much. George, Sean, hope you guys are both doing well. Thank you so much for having me.
We are. What's going on with you?
So I guess the question I have is a bit convoluted, but it's one that I know myself and a couple of my friends my age have been asking and kind of debating over the last couple of months. But I guess it's really a question of, for me, when is saving and trying to be financially stable detrimental to my life goals and plans of moving forward, and that being in the sense of moving out and kind of moving on with my life. And the reason I say that is 2 years ago, I graduated from college. I started working as a talent acquisition specialist and moved out to Cincinnati, Ohio, with a partner I had at the time. The relationship fell through, and I moved back home, and I've been there since, and I've been trying to save my money and be as smart as possible with being financially conservative. But I guess my question is really, when does saving as a priority in my life become too much, if that makes sense, and kind of hold me back from moving on, that being like moving out. And I guess I've kind of hit a wall where I don't really know if I'll ever feel truly financially secure moving out, and I'm just not really sure what I should do moving forward when it comes to being smart with my finances versus actually...
How old are you?
Like 24.
Okay. And you're saying, hey, if this is for all those folks who are in their 20s, even 30s, saying, I live with mom and dad, I'm doing it because it's the financially right move for me. But at what point does it go from being a safety pad, launch pad, into a crutch and a hammock, right?
Absolutely.
I think a good filter is using this time at home to be a comma and not a coma. And a lot of people get comfortable and their expenses are low and the inflation, and it just becomes the plan. And it does stunt their growth as far as their career, their social life, their marriage, everything. And so I think having an exit strategy is key here.
Absolutely.
I'm a huge fan of, move home for a few months, 6 months, get your feet underneath you, save up for a particular goal, whether it's a down payment. I'm a huge fan of that. What I think is a dreadful idea for both kids and parents is not moving in with a deadline. In 6 months, you're out of here. Even if you get to 6 months and you'll have to sit down and be like, hey, we're 3 months away from plan X. But in 6 months, you're going to have this much money in the bank, and then you're on your own again. My question for you is, have you healed from that breakup?
Yes. I guess that's a bit of a tough question to answer, but I would say largely yes. I think I'm in a better spot with my career path and personally, and both personally and professionally. I guess I would say that I'm definitely in a better spot.
Where's that guy
really
that 2 years ago took a job across the country and moved out there to go have an adventure? Because it sounds to me like that guy got his heart ripped out of his chest, and then he walked back home, and he went back to his parents' house, and that guy hasn't recovered yet.
Mm-hmm. I think you're definitely right on that. I definitely was a different person before and after, and I think that prior to it, I don't want to say I was necessarily prone to taking risks, but I think now I've definitely become more risk adverse.
Absolutely. So you used a great word there. Here's the suckiest part about relationships. Whether you're married 70 years or you just met somebody, 100% of relationships, this is from the great Esther Perel, 100% of relationships is a risk. Somebody's been married 70 years. My grandparents were married 73 years. My granddad leaned over and told my grandmother, I'm going to go get something to eat. Do you want something? And she could just be rude and mean, or she could say, sure. Right? It's always a risk. What you've done is you were bench pressing and the weight was too heavy, so you put it back on the bar and you took all the weight off the bar, and now you're just pumping the bar and you're going nowhere. You got to risk putting weight back on the bar. I would say sit down, get a dollar amount, 10 grand, 50 grand, whatever the number is, and put a deadline on it and make yourself move out of your parents' house. Get an apartment. It's not going to stunt your goals. It's going to make you stronger. And then you're going to find your professional career accelerating at an unprecedented pace, man. You got to get back out there. I wish there was another way. There just isn't.
We've been doing business at Ramsey for more than 30 years. By now, we're a well-oiled machine, but it wasn't always that way. Yes, we've always had a vision, always had determination, and a drive to help people. But what we didn't have was one central place to access all our numbers so that we could get further ahead or quickly see when we needed to pivot. We were always jumping back and forth between different systems and spreadsheets. So when NetSuite by Oracle helped us wrangle our revenue, inventory, expenses, and more into one place, it was a game changer. And NetSuite's #1 cloud financial system can help your business gain the same visibility, because businesses thrive on timely data. And NetSuite's real-time analytics can help your business have immediate access to your numbers daily, so you always know where you stand and you can move quickly. So go to netsuite.com/Ramsey today and set up a free product tour. That's netsuite.com/Ramsey.
I'm George Camel, joined by Dr. John Deloney. You're listening to The Ramsey Show, and this is a show about you, about what's on your mind, what's on your heart, what keeps you up at night, the fights that you're having at home, the longings you have, the vision for your life that maybe didn't pan out. We want to help you take the right next step. And the number to call is 888-825-5225. Tanya's up next in Bend, Oregon. Tanya, welcome to the show.
So I am about $100,000 in medical and credit card debt, and I have a home that I have about $350,000 worth of equity in. And I'm wondering what your advice would be if I should sell my home, which would require moving out of the area because in Central Oregon you can't rebuy for that, and pay off my debt, or if I should do the baby steps and stick this out for 5 years and try to work out of this.
Are you a single-family household, single income?
Nope. My husband is home. He did get hurt this winter, and so he's been off of work for a couple of months. He's just getting back to work.
Did he have any workers' comp or disability pay or anything?
No, we're small business owners, so basically
it's all on you.
We had no health insurance at the time, and we had no workers' comp or any kind of insurance to help us through. So our savings is gone. And if I talk about it too much, I might start to cry. So
no, you've earned those tears. You've been through hell and back. That's scary. That's real scary.
Sorry to hear.
It's scary now, and we're to the point where. So he's just had a second surgery in May 2nd, and he's just been released to go back to work. So today is his first job really working back at what he does, which we're a small painting contractors, and I have a small bookkeeping business. So he's back at work full time now.
Good.
And so this is the question is, but I don't know if we're going to be able to fish out of this month by month. Do I go start delivering pizzas and he go start, working double jobs? We
you guys
have one
kids?
child left at home.
One child?
One child left at home, yeah, and she's in high school.
Okay.
So
let me know this story. So I'm going to walk you through my thoughts on this, and George, I want you to hop in if I'm wrong, okay? Is that cool? Can we tag team this?
great, thank you.
Okay. So my wife and I had incalculable 6 figures of debt, but it was surrounded by what I would call a single event. Now that single event took several years, and it was both of us going to graduate school and then more graduate school. But it was around an event. It wasn't our lifestyle to be insane with how we spent. But we looked up, we did something dumb, life happened to us, whatever you want to call it. Like, we looked up and we had this debt. And I had this house. And so we sold our house to expedite it, kind of like you said, 5 to 10 years, because that wasn't who we were. And this was a moment. And here was the big kicker. We were planning on moving out of that community anyway in the next couple of years. And so it expedited all of our goals. It wasn't just a get out of jail free card and now we're renting. It was, hey, we're probably going to move in the next couple of years anyhow. And this gets us out of this. And this cleans up this one giant mess that we made. And we aren't people who run up a bunch of debt anyway. So if you were to tell me this has been our home for 30 years, this is our community, this is where we're known, but we're willing to do whatever it takes to get out of this thing, I'd probably lean on you and tell you to figure out a way to stick it out because that's your roots. If you tell me, hey, we got one more knucklehead in the house and then we were thinking of downsizing and moving to the coast or moving inland, then I would tell you to strongly consider it. You might have an opportunity to clean up a one-time thing that was some medical issues that popped up. We're not people who borrow money. That's just not who we are. This just happened. Life happened at us and hit us in the mouth, and we have this opportunity to walk away. So I throw that at you. Tell me what you're thinking about that. What was your plan? What's your roots with this community you live in? Tell me more.
So it is a mixture of the past couple of years of me struggling medically. I've put a ton of stuff on medical and then on credit cards to be able to go. We didn't have health insurance, and I needed to have some medical stuff done, and so we just did that on credit cards, and it was really irresponsible. And then there's 2 vacations on there that we shouldn't have done. That we just figured, we'll be able to work and pay it right back off. And
so what's your household income today, Tanya, with your husband working now?
Today with him in back to work, probably $60,000 a year.
Between the two of you?
Between the two of us, him being able to get back to work right now.
How much money do you guys have in the bank?
Dollars. We're looking at probably $2,000 total.
Are you an accountant?
I'm just a bookkeeper. I'm not a licensed accountant. I do bookkeeping and payroll for a couple of small businesses.
What has kept you from going to work and do books for a small business directly, or work with a medium-sized business and make $50,000 a year with life insurance? With
medical stuff.
With health insurance.
My medical stuff. Just over the past couple of years, I struggled with some pretty serious medical stuff and have been just trying to get back on my feet. I took some pretty serious diagnoses last year. And
are these mental health issues?
Yeah.
Okay. What about husband? Is he able to... Again, I'm just looking at a work environment where McDonald's is paying $20 an hour.
I know.
You know what I mean? And so if you can make $60,000 or $55,000, I don't know what the math is off the top of my head, but if you can make that kind of money with health insurance, I know we want to work for ourselves and I know we're great at painting, but it might be time to say, hey, I got to make a left turn because my reality has shifted.
Well, and so I guess that was kind of my question, is that do we just kind of give up on this dream of self-employment and go back to work?
I don't think it's an either or. It may be, hey, we're going to go work at a company for now, get out of this debt until we have the freedom and ability to choose.
Give me the letters that were your diagnostic. Do you mind doing that?
PTSD.
Okay.
BPD. And which is borderline personality disorder. That was the one that kind of really kicked me.
It's very challenging.
And then PTSD, anxiety, and depression, which I think the anxiety and depression fall under the BPD diagnosis.
Sure. So a cornerstone of borderline personality disorder, a cornerstone is how intense you feel things 10x what I feel.
Right.
Right? And your body burns with anger where I'm just kind of mad, right? Or I love somebody and you are overwhelmed with love, right?
Yeah.
Also, a cornerstone of borderline personality disorder is very staunch either or. You love me or you hate me. And it could just be, I'm kind of annoyed today. See what I'm saying? I want you to keep what George said and write that on a note and put it somewhere on a mirror where you can see it every day. And here's what I want you to write, because what George said is very, very wise. it's almost never either or. It's almost never backed into a corner. It's almost never, so we just give up on all of our dreams? No. But you maybe take 2 or 3 years and dig yourself out of a hole. So we don't ever get to own a house again? No, but you're sitting on $300,000 of equity. Maybe we clean this sucker up and we go get a fresh start if that's what we were going to do anyway. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right, and that's really what my...
So, Tanya, I would not go sell the house tomorrow because, truthfully, the house is a shortcut that doesn't actually change what's going on, and it's a temporary stopgap. So what I would do is say, can we get our income up to $100,000 and start throwing $35K at this debt every year, and it's gone in 3 years, and we save the house. Boom. And the last worst case scenario is we sell the house to get out of this, but we still have to deal with the underlying issues. So hang on the line. We're going to gift you 1 year of Financial Peace University and want you and your husband to go through that because right now you need a whole lot of hope, and that's exactly what it's going to give you. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. Hey, if you're a new listener to this show and you want to dive deeper into the principles that we teach, the lingo that we share on the show, the Ramsey baby steps, you can go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. And our team has created an awesome tool to help you figure out the next best step for your financial journey based on where you're at today. That's RamseySolutions.com. Click on Get Started. Carter joins us up next in Charlotte, North Carolina. Carter, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Thanks for taking the time this afternoon, guys.
Absolutely.
I find myself in kind of a situation where I have, always heard people talk about investing and kind of where to start. But the last couple months at work, I've had a pretty decent increase. And I find myself now where I really wish that I would have considered sooner. Not sure where to start, how to start, but my family has recently grown, and now I find myself wanting to create a more stable future for wife and child. And so just looking for some advice on kind of beginning steps and where to go from there.
What does stable mean to you?
I know it's a loaded question. I'm sorry?
What does the word stable mean to you when you said, I want a stable financial future?
I don't want my family to have to worry about money in the future. And once my child is older, be able to kind of teach them the wise financial mindset, but also not having to worry about, where things are coming from or when the next meal is. Just want to create this, living in not a luxurious lifestyle, but comfortable, so we don't have to worry about things.
Okay. And this kind of increase in pay has got you thinking about how to do that and how soon you could do that.
Right.
How old are you?
Yeah, I'm 27.
Okay. And what do you make?
So my base is around $90,000 per year, but the last couple of months I have a base plus commission structure. And the last couple of months, my commission has been about $15,000 each month.
Wow.
It ebbs and flows, but with this additional income, I don't want it to just kind of sit around. We did buy a house about a year and a half ago. We've paid the medical expenses on the child, and so now it's kind of like, let me look towards the future and what I need to start doing.
Okay. Do you have any debt other than the mortgage?
I've got a car loan, but it's more so just to increase my credit history and my length of credit. So
what do you need credit for now?
Oh, you did it now, man.
Carter, we were having such a good time.
We had you now.
Like this was going well. What do you need the credit score for now? You have the house.
So my wife is not going to be working anymore, and we have a house, but we want to move within the next 4 to 5 years.
Okay, well, your mortgage is going to keep your score going.
School system. Yeah. I mean, to be frank, I could pay off the vehicle right now. It's just one of those things that maybe my money I throw some into investing.
There it is, Carter. Cat's out of the bag.
All right, hold on. Before George does this,
every month I'm putting about $1,000 extra towards the car loan just to get it done.
Hold on.
Paid off.
Carter, what do you do for a living?
I work in recruiting.
Okay.
In the financial services industry.
There you go. Okay. I have a family member who works there and does quite well, so excellent. Before George gives you the tactics, because you're a tactics guy, is that fair?
Correct.
One thing I don't think you've done yet, and what I'm about to say, dude, my 22-year-old self would hit me in the ear for saying what I'm about to say. I need you to hear me. What I'm about to say sounds woo-woo and sounds like I'm holding crystals and pouring essential oils all over my head while I'm telling you this, okay?
Okay.
George is going to give you a plan, a set of tactics, and if you don't do what I tell you, it's not going to be worth the paper you write it down on. All right?
Okay.
You have to, it gives me to even say what I'm about to say. You have to feel how your life has changed because you have not done that. You're a dad now, man. You have always seen those guys as the ones who get bonuses, and that's you now, man. Those guys are the ones who have a house and an awesome wife and a family. That's you now. And it sounds like you're trying to keep at arm's length all of these transitions that are so beautiful and so credible and so life-changing. You're trying to keep them at arm's length by getting the right plan in place. Plans are important, but way more important is holding that little baby and saying, dude, of all the dads in the world, I'm so grateful that I get to be yours. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you sit down and spend the next 2 or 3 months absorbing all this life change, how much has it happened? It changes how you dream, and it changes how you sleep, and it changes how you interact with your kids. And then George is going to walk you through game on. And I'm going to be honest, you're doing some stupid stuff with your money. George will help you with that, all right? But it allows you to say, okay, I'm doing this for a reason. I'm not running from something. I want them set up perfect. No, man, I'm doing this because I love that kid. I'm doing this because I'm a good dad. I'm doing this because I'm a great husband. See how different that is?
Yeah.
You got to feel it. You got to feel it. Everything in your life is different now, and that's what makes it great. All right, George, sorry. I felt like I just had to tell my brother.
That was a good caveat, John. So, Carter, here's my thing. You called in asking how you can set your family up. You want a comfortable life, nothing crazy, but yet we're aiming towards risk in order to get that comfort, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So we're saying, hey, we're going to keep the car loan. We're going to keep this debt hanging around. We're going to invest our money, and that's somehow going to create a semblance of safety. And so I'm not angry at investing, but I think there's an order and a method to the madness. So if I'm in your shoes, how much money do you have total cash in the bank?
Around $35,000.
And what's left on the car?
Maybe $10,000, $11,000.
Okay, that leaves you with $25,000. Let's call that your emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses?
Yeah.
Great. Now we can begin investing 15% into retirement accounts, which I'm sure is not cool amongst the youth of America today. They're going, well, I got to wait till I'm 60 to Yes, and you can still retire early. And so with any money left over after the 15%, I'm paying off that house. Because let me remind you what you wanted. You wanted your family to never have to struggle, never have to worry. And guess what having no payments in the world helps you do? Not worry. And so I know that's the least flashy information, and I doubt you'll do it because you're probably going, well, my mortgage interest rate is like 3%. I can invest that and get 6%, right? Right? You're doing the math in your head.
And the whole time you're holding this brand new 9-month-old who feels that angst on you all day, every day, versus the dad who has not even a house payment, and it's like, can you believe inflation? And he goes, I don't know. What is it? Because he literally doesn't care. And you're talking to two dummies here. Do you know what our combined
IQ is?
7. Our combined FICO score. I honestly, I couldn't tell you my credit score. I can't think of a number I care less about. I don't even know what it is. I don't care. And I'm not rich. I just don't care about my FICO score. I don't care about that number. It does nothing for me.
It's the greatest flex to not care about the credit score. Way more than the 850 Not caring is even better. So, Carter, here's what I'll tell you to do. Pay off the car, stop worrying about the credit score, and start building wealth the right way, which is the slow way. Be the tortoise and not the hare. Be the crock pot in the world full of microwaves. And, man, it will change everything as far as how you feel internally and how your family feels. Because you can out-earn your stupidity. You make an incredible income. You can go do a whole bunch of stuff and still put food on the table. So this really isn't about safety, because you guys are going to be okay. What this is about is justifying, I want to keep my family safe, with truly an underlying sense of some pride, some fear, a little bit of greed, going, man, I can make some really good money right now in the market. You're going to retire a multimillionaire. Agreed?
Yeah.
So what's the rush? Be a multimillionaire with a smile on your face, not with constant rocket diarrhea, because you can't feel your guts, right? Hey, stay on the line. We're going to give you Financial Peace University for a whole year. You and your wife can go through this. It's our gift. It's your shower gift. And y'all go through this thing together, and it'll walk you through every single lesson. And you'll get there.
That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. Our thanks to the incredible crew in the booth. We've got Emily, we've got Ben, we've got Austin, we've got Andrew holding it down, and my co-host, Dr. John Deloney, and you, America. We'll be back before you know it. Hey, George Camel here. If you love the show and you want a deeper dive on your money journey, we've got a weekly newsletter that gives you helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for the newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Storage Studio, it's The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm Ramsey personality George Camel, joined by my good friend Dr. John Deloney, and we are taking your calls at 888-825-5225. And we're going to try to tell you the truth on the show, even if it hurts. And often, truth tellers in a world gone mad sound a little mad, don't they, John?
Yeah.
We sound like the crazy ones.
Sometimes just telling the truth makes you look nuts.
But we're here for it, and we believe it to such a deep level because we know that it works. We've heard countless stories, seen people on the debt-free stage, and when you know too much, ignorance is bliss until now. Yeah. Until you see what's behind the curtain, how the sausage is made, and it makes you go, I don't think I want one of those credit scores. No, thank you. So we're happy to help you today, whether it's with money, relationships, mental health, debt, investing. We are here for you, America. We're going to kick it off with Josh in Tampa this hour. Josh, what's going on?
Hi, George. Hi, Dr. John. Thank you guys so much for taking my call.
Sure.
So my wife and I are on baby step 3B, and we've never had any debt as a married couple. And she's brought up a couple times now that we should get a credit card to build our credit for when we're ready to buy a house. And I was just wondering how can I softly and lovingly explain to her that the risk isn't worth the very little reward that comes with having a credit card.
How long have you been married, dude?
We have been married for about 1.5 years.
Yeah, I was thinking you've been married less than 2 years, so you still think softly and gently works. I'm just playing. It's all good. All right, so George, I'll let you do the honors.
Well, I'm curious, Josh. Obviously, you are in the boat of we don't need the credit score, right?
Right.
And she's in the boat of like, why would we not? It's going to make our life easier. Does she know about manual underwriting? Have you explained that it's not that difficult to get the house without a credit score if you do it the right way?
Yes, I have explained that to her. She's come at it, I guess she's come at it from the stance of, yeah, that's true, but if we did have a really good credit score, we could get an even better interest rate. And I just ended up telling her that I would feel really uncomfortable getting a credit card. And so it hasn't come up to a boiling point of a full-on fight. I just want to stop it before it gets to that point.
Mm. Well, the other piece of this is there's a lot of misinformation out there when it comes to getting a house without a credit score, that you're going to get a horrible interest rate. And as someone who's actually done it, they don't care about my opinion, of course. They just go, "Ugh." But the truth is that you can get a great rate without a credit score. If you get a 15-year fixed rate mortgage with 20% down, I will get the same score as the guy next to me who has a great, excellent credit score.
Right.
But if you told her that, what would her response be? Is she wanting to do a 30-year? Is she wanting to put less down? Where's the holdup here when it comes to buying the house?
Well, I think we're just feeling a little discouraged in terms of buying a house because we live in a really high rent area, and she wants to wait, and we both really want to wait to have kids until we are in a house, and so there's kind of, I think, a lot of emotions tied up into getting a house as quick as possible. So I think that's playing a bit of a role in her looking at other ways to get in one quickly.
So my guess is she wants to put as little down possible into a 30-year mortgage.
Not as little down, but yeah, we definitely had conversations of doing the 30-year mortgage.
Have you guys been through Financial Peace University?
No, we haven't. I've grown up my parents grew up on Dave Ramsey, and so I followed his steps, and I was a big fan.
But to her, this is all new information. You're coming at her sideways, and it's creating some tension.
Very true, yeah.
Because you're used to this stuff. This is like mind-blowing, jarring information to her. So I think she also needs some time with it. She needs to understand it at a deeper level, and you guys need to be more aligned on that vision and those goals.
Here's where I would start if I were you. And I was kind of giving you a hard time about only being married 18 months. I think this is actually the perfect time for y'all. Mm-hmm. I would love to see y'all go on what I wish I had another word for it, man, because this is so corporate language. But I would love to see y'all go on some sort of strategic planning retreat. And here's what you're discovering, and here's what you're etching into stone. Here's who we are gonna be. This is the kind of family we're gonna be. And I want you to etch your values. I want you to anchor them into the bedrock of your soul. And I want you to hold your beliefs really, really lightly. And what I mean by that is value. We are a people, we're a family that never borrows money. I also believe I should have a house before I have kids. I'm going to never touch that value. That value is etched into stone. We just don't borrow money. That's just who we are. I don't build up a credit score, whatever the heck that is, get some airline point. We just don't borrow money. That's just who we are. We don't cheat on each other. We don't punch each other in the face. We don't murder. These are just things we don't do. And we have this belief. We have to have a house before we have kids. I'm going to hold that one real loosely, and I'm going to go talk to some people who have had a bunch of kids before. One of the greatest experiences of my life was the 1 year we lived in an apartment when my son was 2. It was a blast. We got to know my neighbors. He got to see it was amazing. I never in a million years would have done that. Right? So that's a belief that I held really loosely that I got some new wisdom on. But when it comes to values, you guys haven't had the who are we going to be yet. Y'all are still arguing on the plays you want to run. You're not arguing on what kind of team we're going to be. And that's where I want to see you spend your energy on the front end. And that tends to take a lot of the nuts and bolts questions off the table because it's just who we are.
Right.
And I think every new married couple could benefit from that. I mean, shoot, you've been married 25 years. You need to have another one of those strategic plans. Who are we now? Where are we? What do we believe? What do we want to be about in this season? But man, I think that's where I'd start is, hey, honey, what kind of life do you want to build together? Who do we want to be? And then when you decide, I want to be a house that never does this. Cool, we're in. Now you're going to sit with somebody who's way smarter than me, like George, and he's going to walk you through, okay, well, here's how you buy a house then. Here's how you do this then. Here's how you buy a car then. Here's how you become a millionaire.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, a lot of people ask me, hey, man, you got a house, you paid it off early, you did it without a credit score. What do you attribute to that? And 100%, it's being on the same page with my wife. We pre-decided all of these things. We pre-decided we were going to save up a huge down payment, pre-decided we were going to do a 15-year, pre-decided that we were going to go through the process of manual underwriting, and that changed the game. It made us move so much faster than us bickering over the tactics. So you and your wife, go listen to the episode of The Fine Print that I did. It's called The Dirty Truth Behind Your Credit Score. Have her listen to that. I'm also going to gift you guys Financial Peace University because I think she just doesn't have all the information and you've had it for years. And so to you, it's a no-brainer. To her, this is still She's figuring out, why do we have to live outside of the Matrix? The Matrix is a great place to live.
It's
And you're
comfortable
going,
in
Dude,
there.
Take the pill, we can get out. And so I think with time, and like John said, that intentional planning, you guys will get there. So hang on the line. Emily's going to pick up. We're going to gift you 1 year Financial Peace University. We're wishing you the best with the house buying process.
Y'all, there's a lot you can't control when it comes to healthcare, but there is something you should check out that can help. Christian Healthcare Ministries. CHM is not insurance. It is budget-friendly, biblically based health cost sharing. That means a community of members helping share the burden of each other's healthcare costs. They help people just like you in all 50 states. So see if CHM could be right for your family. Learn more today at chministries.org/budget.
George Camel here, joined by Dr. John Deloney. This is The Ramsey Show. If you've changed your life with the money principles that we teach, the chances are it's because someone you know lit a fire under you. Mom, dad gave you the Total Money Makeover as a gift. Your pastor offered Financial Peace University at the church. Well, now it's your chance to share that same hope that you discovered with someone that you love. And the best way to do that is by giving them the Live and Give box. This is the perfect gift for a newlywed couple, a graduate in your life. It's everything they need to win with money. And it comes with Financial Peace University, the Total Money Makeover book, and the Baby Steps Millionaires book. And right now you can get all of that for just $89. But this deal ends today. So give the people you care about a gift that actually matters, and that is hope. That's freedom. Grab the Live and Give box today at RamseySolutions.com/box. That's RamseySolutions.com/box. Taylor joins us up next in Oklahoma City. Taylor, welcome to the show. Are you with us?
Yes, hi.
Hey, how can we help?
Hi. So I have what I think is an income and a debt issue. I'm a single mom of a 10-month-old baby boy, and I am I'm not making ends meet. I'm not even going to lie. I'm not making ends meet.
Hey, thank you for telling us. I know you don't want to say that. That's where it all. Yeah. I'm so proud of you. I know that was hard to do just then. I heard it. Good for you.
It's incredibly hard. I love my job so much, and my boss is incredible. I actually was just able to be very honest with her and got a $7,000 raise.
Wow.
And that is keeping me at not making ends meet instead of catastrophe.
I'm laughing with you because it's sad.
If we don't laugh, we cry.
Thank you. So just any guidance on what do I do?
Well, you've got the 10-month-old. What are the logistics around caring for the 10-month-old?
Very difficult. I have 4 days a week daycare. He comes to the office with me, or today we're working from home 1 day a week. I have very, very little outside of daycare childcare that is a free option to me.
Okay.
And I'm about $30 a week for groceries, so I can't pay a babysitter.
Oh, hon, no. Is dad in the picture at all?
No, Dad has a substance use disorder, so I also don't anticipate child support.
Okay. How much do you make a year?
$54,000.
How much debt do you have?
I have about $30,000 in debt.
And what kind of debt is it?
It is a combination. I have about $14,000 on my car. I'm upside down on my car. I have about $2,500 still on my credit card that is a closed account and cut up, and we're working on paying it down. And then I also have about $14,000 that I consolidated from that credit card with my credit union, so that it was at least a lower interest rate and a fixed payment every month.
Okay.
So,
what's the car worth? You said you're underwater. Is it worth 12?
I could sell it for 8.
Oof.
Yeah.
Hey, were y'all married?
No.
How long were y'all together?
3 years.
How much of your heart got taken with this whole mess?
A whole lot of it. There's a protective order involved.
Okay. Because here's what I hear.
So we just want to get better.
I know. But here's what I hear.
Yeah.
I hear you have to see, when you told me and George that you just went and had one conversation with your boss and she whipped out $7,000 extra for you. You know what that means? That means you're an absolute gangster. And there's one person on the planet that doesn't know that, and that's you. Because here's what happens. When you marry somebody, when you fall in love with somebody, when you try to build a life with somebody who's struggling with addiction disorders, you start to lose your own center of gravity, and then you lose trust in you, right?
Yeah, it's actually the field I work in now.
There you go.
There's substance use disorders, yeah.
Hey, but listen, my counselor will attest, I don't care what field you work in. It's easy to care for other people. It's real hard to look in the mirror, right?
Yeah, there's some luxury in doing that, though, right? Because it's about taking care of my kid now. That's where I'm not taking care of me. Is taking care of
the greatest gift you can give that kid is to begin to believe in his mom again.
How do I do that tactically?
You're so great. You're so great. It's both and.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is you got to be real clear. You love this job and it may not be able to pay your bills. You really, really want to take on all this debt and clean all this crap up yourself because I'm a single mom and I can do it, and you may not be able to. And what I mean, like, you may have to go just turn the keys of the car in. Like there's a basis, and you know this with your work with people who struggle with addiction. The baseline is you have to own reality. Here's where we are, right? And that's really hard to do when you're looking at a little baby and you're trying to, you want to keep this picture of this world that we want up so much, and yet here's reality.
I mean, I've slept on the floor in the past year. I don't mind getting rid of my pride or of a vision.
Stop.
Mind.
You've got to stop living in survival. You got to stop living so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you some free financial coaching. We're going to pay for it. We've got financial coaches on staff. And you're going to stay on the line, and they're going to walk you through your budget and walk you through, here's where I would make cuts.
I'm so sorry.
You're all right. You're all right, dude. George has a kid on the way. I've got a kid. That's a sound that's good. That's makes joy in my heart. That's great.
Yeah.
Mom's going to have to go see a counselor. Okay? You're going to have to go talk to somebody. Mom's going to have to reach out and get a group of girlfriends in her community or some people at a local church that will help with some childcare, doing some trades. Mom's going to have some hard conversations about work. And I love serving people with addictions, but I can't live right now. $54,000 in this community and my debt, all that stuff, George. It's sitting down and own reality. It's really scary. Really, really scary.
And Taylor, you are very capable. So I have no fear that you're not going to get out of this debt. It's going to happen. It may take longer than you want. It may take some extra side hustles. It may take asking for help even when it hurts your pride. And it may take getting connected with a local church. I mean, our church has a ministry just for single moms to get them cars. So imagine if you could go, hey, I'm going to sell the car. I'm underwater on it. I'm going to take a loan for the difference from a credit union. And I'm going to find a beater car to get around in from A to B. I'm going to see if I can work at home an extra day a week to avoid a little more day. You're going to have to do 1,000 little things that add up to a whole lot to go, all right, I got $1,000 extra I can throw at this debt. That's $12,000. I'm going to knock this thing out in 2.5 years.
Or I'm going to go earn $75,000 and it's not going to be at a job with as cool a boss or as caring of a boss, but I'm going to go get that job because that's what I got to do for the next 2 years to climb out of this hole that I'm in. Right.
Yeah. But this is a solvable problem. But right now, it feels so overwhelming. I can't imagine what you're going through doing all of this as a single mom, a 10-month-old, and
while also doubting yourself
and dealing with your past struggles and your past hurts.
All right. So we threw a lot at you, and a lot of it sounds kumbaya. Push back.
Yeah. I asked for tactics, guys.
Push back.
I know all of it. I don't know how to do all of that in the dishes, you know. I heard
getting a community I'm really grateful to have. Thankfully, here in Oklahoma City, I grew up here. I have my people. I have amazing friends.
Do you ask for help?
Occasionally.
You do not. That's the problem.
I'm learning to.
Okay, you have to. This isn't something you have time to learn to do. You have to.
If you were my friend, Taylor, and you had a group of friends, and I knew what you were going through, I'd be like, guys, we're all going to get together. Everyone Venmo a bunch of money. We're going to just bless the socks off Taylor. We're going to get her a new car.
And beyond that, can I tell you this? If you were my friend, what an honor it would be for you to call and say, hey, can you and Sheila come help? What a gift that would be to me. Forget you. It would help. It's a gift to me. Let your friends love you. Let your community love you. You've got to ask for help. So when we say get community, go through FPU, all that stuff, hang on the line. We're going to give you everything we got. But you have to say, here's what I need. Will you help me?
You're not a burden, Taylor. Ask for help, and they'll be happy to give it. Hang on the line. We're going to give you financial coaching with one of our staff. We're going to give you Financial Peace University, and I'm going to send you a copy of Dr. John's Own Your Past, Change Your Future.
If you're like most people, your home is your most valuable asset. And when you want to make improvements, it can feel like everything costs too much or takes too long. But something as simple as custom window coverings from Blinds.com can completely change your space and add value to your home. We've recommended Blinds.com for over a decade, so you know you can trust them. From blinds, drapes, and shutters to motorized shades, they make it easy and affordable to upgrade your entire home, and their team is ready to help with everything from design consultation to measuring and installation. Plus, there are never any misleading quotes or hidden fees. Everything's backed by their 100% satisfaction guarantee, and shipping is always free. See why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings. Go to Blinds.com now and save 45% off selected products. Visit Blinds.com today for more info.
This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Dr. John Deloney. The number to call is 888-825-5225. You jump in, we'll talk about your life, your money, your relationships, whatever is on your mind. Our question of the day is brought to you by Neighborly, your hub for home services for over 40 years. Neighborly has an exclusive network of trained local service pros backed by the Neighborly Done Right promise. So it's not done right, Neighborly will make it right. Visit neighborly.com today to learn more.
All right, today's question comes from Ron in Louisiana, or potentially John, sitting right next to George Campbell.
When I saw this question, I was like, John, did you actually sneak this question for yourself? Read it, John.
Ron from Louisiana writes, I heard about you from my son, and I saw your video about the supposed crash of the dollar and government crypto. You said it's all BS, but that goes against everything I'm seeing on YouTube.
Okay, that's funny. I don't care who you are. That's a brand new sentence.
That sentence has never before been spoken in the English language. Ron, I'm not even going to finish your question yet. I just need to address you. Things on the YouTube aren't always real.
Except for this show. If you're watching our show on YouTube, it's real.
Whoa. Okay. And by the way, it's not everything you're seeing on YouTube, because we're on YouTube, and we don't say that.
The algorithm is showing you very specific things.
Because you keep clicking on them. And then it just keeps showing you more of the things you keep clicking on. The world is crashing,
I will click on that video, yes.
If you were to click on strength of U.S. economy, it would just send you a bunch of videos that talked about that. So all I have to say is this. On to the next. I own my home and vehicles. I have no debt, and I have $60,000 saved. Good for you, brother. That's awesome. That's really impressive. And I was thinking of buying hunting land, My thought is that if the economy collapses or we lose electricity, I can just live off the hunting land. What would or wouldn't you do in my financial position?
Okay, so there's two parts here. I mean, financially, he's in a great spot. He owns his home and vehicles, no debt, $60,000 saved, now wants to buy some hunting land. That's a cool goal. The motive behind it can be worrisome, but also still not wild. Now, the paranoia,
it's wild.
The paranoia and conspiracy of it all is the wild part. But wanting to buy land and living off the grid, that's a dream for a lot of people. And John, you can attest to that.
Yeah. So I like hunting land. I like hunting. I like being able to take care of my wife and I. Our gardens are massive. I like we love that. I also have zero illusion that if the U.S. dollar implodes, if it goes away, we're probably not going to make it. We just got to make peace with that. And I know that we all can watch Survivor shows, and it's so great. It's going to be a rough go. So I think the idea, man, yeah, if you can afford, if you can buy cash, pay cash for hunting land, get it. It's great, man. I'm always looking to buy more land. I love it. I'm saving right now for another thing. So I'm all about that. If you're doing it as a hedge against the world collapsing, I probably wouldn't do it for that reason. If you've got other goals, if you've got colleges you got to save for, if you don't have any retirement or anything like that, I would not do it in lieu of that.
That's fair.
I think I've talked about this on the show that when and again, Ron, I'm smiling because I'm you. I was this guy for a while. Like, it's all coming down. I have it mapped out like a beautiful mind. It's all going to fall down, and here's what's going to happen. And I remember sitting with the CFO of a $150 million company. I walked him through my plan. Here's what I'm going to do. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. And I'm going to cash out all this, do this, buy this land. And he looked at me and he said, "Hey, man, like, I don't really understand what your plan is here," because it was insane. And he goes, "Please, like, you're my friend, don't do this." His name was Kelly. He was one of the greatest men. He said, "Please don't do this." And I walked out of that meeting and I thought to myself, he didn't get it. He doesn't get it. He's a part of the system, right? I wasn't well. But let me tell you this. So my buddy Todd, who's a finance wizard, he works in finance. He's the one who gave me this line, and it was really revolutionary for me. He said, I kept peppering him about, what if the dollar does this, and what if happens here, and what, I'm eating my Beanie Babies because it's all I've got left. And he said, "Hey, John, I don't have," and this is the quote, "I don't have a meteorite plan." And I was like, "What do you mean you have a meteorite plan?" And he said, "Hey, I'm going to make the best choices with the information I got in front of me. And the information I got in front of me is economies go up and they go down. And over the long haul, they continue to inch their way up and up and up. And if that changes, you think your life is going to be just not that happening and you're still driving to work. You won't have a work to drive to. People will be shooting you for your water. They will eat your pet. Like, you can't imagine that.
But I have all this gold, John. I've stockpiled gold for a time such as this.
Great. We will burn you down with your gold, right? I mean, there's 800,000 people walking down the highway. We don't have a scale for that outside of crazy movies. And so his wisdom was so great. Things will be so radically different that to plan for that is madness. It's a waste of your current day. So be smart, be intelligent, don't be dumb. If you're into hunting land and you want to, great, man, I'm all about it. If you're buying it as a hedge to when it all goes down, I'm just telling you, you're going to have 25,000 people crashing onto your land. Oh, I got my, you don't.
Well, my thing is the world may end. Now, it's a little egotistical to think it's going to end in my lifetime. A little prideful to assume that. But if it does end, until then, I want to have a good quality of life.
Right.
And you don't have that when you're stuck in paranoia of what could be.
The goal here is peace. I want peace in my home.
That's a good word. Right?
I want peace in my home. And I got huge gardens. I got a deep freezer. I have a hunting family. But also, like, I don't know, my wife drives Prius, and so it's like it's kind of both and. It's kind of both and. So Ron, hey, if I'm you, brother, you are doing really, really good. I would turn YouTube completely off and just not turn it back on, and I would sit down with your wife, your kids, and make some long-term plans about how you want to invest your money. And if buying hunting land is part of that, awesome, just pay cash for it.
Now, John, in your book, Redefining Anxiety, you share a story of kind of you spiraling out of control.
Yes.
In the intro of the book. How does someone recover who's kind of in this mindset? Because this is it's easy to say, hey, Ron, don't worry about it, bro. But how do you actually
There's literally only one way
that
I've been able to find. You have to have somebody that you trust, whether it's a therapist that you pay or a medical doctor or a close friend. I was blessed. My wife called Todd, called my buddy, and his wife, who is a close friend, and said, John's not all right. And they drove 3 hours, and they had a new kid. We had a new kid, and the whole trip was quote unquote under the guise of our kids were meeting together for the first time.
But it was really like an intervention.
The guise was, my wife knew I trusted that guy. And we walked out on the driveway, and he said, hey, this has to stop. You're not all right. This has to stop. And I remember being pissed when he left, but that was the first thought, like, oh, maybe it's me, right? But I don't know a way that somebody just comes out of that hurricane spiral on their own. It has to be through relationship, which makes it so difficult, especially when other people are part of the spiral, right? That's what made COVID so hard, is other people were the scary thing, were the zombies. And that was also the thing that was going to make you whole, was to sit with other people again, right?
Yeah, that isolation is dangerous. And just having the echo chamber of the other people who also think it's all going to go down, also dangerous.
Dude, you have to have people with common sense. Every friend needs one that's all coming down. That guy's important in the group.
John is the one in our friend group, in case you're wondering.
I'm always that guy. But I have to have people in my life that are like, okay, that's cool, man. But go ahead and take the match in your 401, right?
Well, and you're doing the right things here in this situation where you don't have any debt, you don't owe anyone anything. I mean, even 2008, terrible financial crisis, many people survived it.
It went
financially.
It
wasn't fun. Their 401ks tanked.
Yeah. It went in half.
Didn't collapse completely.
Horrific numbers. Was it 35% unemployment? That meant 65%. Almost 7 out of 10 people were still working, right? So we lose perspective with all of the, that 3 out of 10 was massive. Don't ever want to do that again. And there's always perspective. There's always perspective, and that's what friends and community bring to us.
Yeah, and the financial piece is a part of that equation, but you don't want a flat tire. You also have to have the relationships, have your physical health,
I called you that one time.
Shape.
Hey, I'm thinking about investing in this, but I'm thinking about investing in this. I have a guy. I got a buddy that I trust that I can call, and you gave me good answers.
Get you a guy. This is The Ramsey Show. This is The Ramsey Show. I'm George Campbell, joined by Dr. John Deloney. If you're a fan of this show, be sure to check out my friend Dr. John Deloney's show. It's on YouTube and podcast, and he does it right next door to the studio, and it's a real good one. And if you want more from me, which is a rare, small group of people, you can check out Smart Money Happy Hour podcast I have with Rachel Cruz. That's real fun. And then a brand new YouTube channel where I'm making, hopefully, fun, entertaining personal finance videos, breaking down all the traps and trends to help you guys. So
you're blowing by me numbers-wise.
Well,
doing it, man.
I think it's because I went all in. I'm a YouTuber, like a true YouTuber.
Yeah, you're like a YouTube native.
Edits, highly produced, a lot of pop culture and memes. Less sad calls that are people in really tough situations. So I have that going for me.
Excellent.
And they're short.
Well, it's crushing, dude.
You're long-winded. I'm short-winded.
That's. You told me not to talk about your height on the air anymore, so I won't. But
leave it alone, John.
But.
All right, let's go to the phones. Caleb is up next in Chattanooga, Tennessee. Caleb, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call.
What's going on?
Well, I'm having some financial struggles with my girlfriend. Really, I'm doing all right myself. We have separate bank accounts. I've never really thought of combining them or anything, but she just hasn't been handling her finances very well, and it's kind of putting a real strain on our relationship.
In what way? What's your involvement with her money?
She hasn't been able to help out with any of like the bills. We live together.
There it is. Okay. So a lot of combined bills. She can't pay the bills?
Yeah. No, she can hardly even pay her own bills.
Why?
And
is she working full time?
Yes and no. She just recently relocated.
Okay.
And that was the issue. Like, she took a job that didn't really pan out, and so for about a month or two there, she really didn't have the income coming in.
Okay.
And on top of that, she didn't really have any money saved up to fall back on, so she was putting stuff on credit cards.
So are you covering all the bills right now?
Yeah. All of the household bills.
Caleb, is the problem financial, or is the problem you're growing increasingly disgusted? Is probably a strong word, but you're growing increasingly frustrated by the character of the person you're trying to play house with?
Yeah.
I don't want to, are you starting to believe, I don't know if I want to be married to someone who rolls like this?
Yeah. That's definitely, I think you kind of hit the nail on the head right there.
Okay. Because here's the deal. One, George and I are both going to tell you, if you're not married, and we can say there's a moral issue, fine, but there's a legal issue. If you're not married, paying each other's bills, playing each other's bills, it just makes for a mess, dude. If you own a house together, the whole thing is just so complex. And so we would tell you, man, if you're going to play house, get married, and because at least there is some legal protection as you separate things out if things go sideways. If you're just dating, it just turns into World War III and IV and V. But beyond that, man, both George and I are married. We both are all in on the woman that we are with. And if there's a season where we got to do extra, there's no problem there. That doesn't seem to be your issue. That seems to be like you're just getting increasingly frustrated that this is who I'm dating? This is come on. And she's just like, nah, you got it. Is that right?
Yeah, that's definitely, you're going down the right hole there. What kind of frustrates me is I feel like a pressure, like she wants our relationship to move to the next level.
What is the next level? You guys are already living together.
That would be like marriage or kids. And I'm not comfortable doing that with her because of her finances.
Have you told her that?
Hey, hold on. It's not because of her finances. It's because of her character. They are expressing themselves in her finances. Don't get those two screwed up, because she's going to make you a bunch of promises and say, okay, well, I'll pay my credit card off and I'll go get another job. That's not going to cure the underlying, which is, I'll do whatever I want. I don't have to participate in creating a home together. And also, in her defense, y'all are kind of just making up you're just, it's very wishy-washy, and it's hard to anchor into wishy-washy, right?
Yeah, I agree.
Have you had a conversation with her yet about all this?
Yeah, I have, and it just ends in argument and yelling and stuff. I'm just kind of at my wit's end, because even as we speak, she's getting opening up new credit card accounts and stuff like that.
Have you said to her, being in debt scares me to death, and when you borrow money, I can't breathe. And moving forward in my home, the home that I want to raise kids in and build a family with, we are going to be people who don't borrow money. And so if that's the way you want to get through your world, I love that. You are opting out of relationship with me. Have you said that?
No, I haven't.
Have a backbone, man. You got to stand up and speak your virtues out into the world. Because you're going to wake up 3 years from now, you're going to have 2 kids, you're going to be considering a wedding, and you are not even going to know what day it is. You're going to be so frustrated. Is that fair?
Yeah.
I would never, and listen to me, don't go tell them, be like, hey, I called these guys on the radio. They told me to dump your butt. That's not what we're saying at all. I'm telling you, the only thing in the world you can control is your thoughts and your actions. So you go be a person of character and say exactly what you need and what you feel. And then she gets to opt into that, and y'all create a life together, or she gets to opt out of that and have a bunch of shiny plastic toys. That's it. I know I made that sound real simple. I know it's way more complex than that.
But Caleb, this is eating you alive, man. This is turning into resentment. This is turning into you feeling like you're enabling her poor decisions. And if I'm in your shoes, I just go, this relationship isn't working. Our values are too dissimilar for this to work. And I wish you the best. And you know what that means? Someone's got to move out, and it's going to get real awkward real quick.
Because your first thought's going to be like, I've been paying the bills. And she's going to say, bye, Felicia. And the whole thing starts over. Then George and I high five, and we're like, told you so. But we won't do that.
I know the next few steps are going to be real hard, but what's even harder is just sticking this out, hoping things change, and it just gets worse. And then you've got a lot of resentment. And John Deloney, he quotes another super smart psychologist guy who said, choose guilt over resentment.
Yeah,
and you're going to feel guilty. You're going to go, she's already going through a tough time. I can't believe I could do this to her. But man, it's going to
choose that over hating the woman that you love, right? Or hating your mother-in-law or hating your dad. Like, choose guilt. Choose the boundaries, right? And it goes back to... I don't think I'm allowed to talk about it yet, but I think I've talked about it a little bit.
It's a secret?
Well, it's just I got a new book coming out in the fall, but one of the discussions comes from the great Michael Easter, which, like, it's hard. Life is hard if you are overweight by 100 pounds. It's hard. And it's so hard to lose 100 pounds. So you're not toggling between, one's real easy and one's real hard. My life is super simple if I'm 100 pounds overweight and my knees hurt and my back hurts and I'm exhausted. And you're not choosing between a real fun time and a hard time losing weight. They're both hard. Right now, what he's choosing is nobody taught that dude how to say his needs out loud. And nobody taught him how to sit down with somebody and build a picture of what marriage could look like for us and building a life and a home together. No one's done that. Doing that will be almost impossible. And living with somebody that you don't share their values and they are just digging a hole that expect you to clean up, that's hard too. So it's not an easy, one's easy and one's hard. They're both hard. You got to just choose your hard, right?
One's going to lead to freedom.
What's the path? That's right.
That's a good word.
Yeah, one path heads to freedom.
Man, wishing you the best.
Choose your heart, man.
That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to all the folks in the booth keeping the show running. My co-host, Dr. John Deloney, and you, America. We'll be back with you before you know it.
Hey, it's Dr. John Deloney. If you love the show and want a deeper dive on your money journey, we have a weekly newsletter that gives you trending and helpful articles and tips on following the Ramsey way. Just go to RamseySolutions.com today to sign up for our newsletter. Again, that's RamseySolutions.com to sign up for our weekly newsletter.
Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Pods Moving and Stored studio. Bit my tongue there, John. I got so excited. This is The Ramsey Show, where we help people build wealth, do work that they love, and create amazing relationships. I'm George Camel, joined by Dr. John Deloney today, and this is your show, America. So call us up at 888-825-5225. And if you like this show, please consider subscribing, leaving us a review wherever you're listening, and sharing this with a friend. John, we just got some really cool data in from our listener survey, and it's amazing to see how many new listeners came from word of mouth. People saying, hey, incredible. John, you got to check out the show. You got to check out the show. And there's only a certain amount humans can handle in their life, in the repertoire of podcasts and shows they listen to.
I have like 4 hours a week I can listen to a thing.
Exactly.
Two of those hours, people are murder.
They're saying, hey, Ramsey Show, you're going to get an hour of my time. That means the world to us. And we truly believe that these principles, while it can be entertaining to listen to the show, it can also change your life.
And one of the things we talked about in there was the word of mouth. It used to be, I worked with the same 25 people, and I might tell one of them over lunch or a couple people about, hey, man, I did something crazy. I paid off all my debt, right? And they're like, what? Like, that used to be word of mouth. Now you can just listen to a podcast episode, and if it's meaningful, you can just text it to 25 different people. Yeah. And so it's expanded this idea of word of mouth, or you can just forward the link of a YouTube clip or a YouTube episode to your mom or to your friend or whatever. And so it's the ability to send these episodes out. So if you listen to an episode, if you watch an episode, and it's meaningful to you, it's impactful, and you think, man, this would really, my mom needs to hear this call. Send it to her. Forward it on to her, man, and bring everybody into our weird little gang.
It's a party. We love it. Grateful for you guys. This is your show. Let's get to it. Tanisha is with us in Washington, D.C. to kick off this hour. Tanisha, welcome. How you doing?
Hi, I'm okay. How are you?
We're doing well. How can we help today?
So to make it plain, I am bored at my job. I want to switch careers immediately.
Thank you for your honesty.
Tanisha, me too. Me too.
No, you're not. You guys are loving your job.
I know. I am having a good time.
Okay. No. So you're bored. You want to get out of this thing?
Yes. And I work from home, and I am pulling my hair out. But I have a second job, and I got it because I started the baby steps, so I'm paying debt. So I paid my credit cards off, and now I have student loans. But the career I want to go into, I have to get a master's. So I'm like, do I take out more debt or do I wait?
What's the job?
I don't know what to do. What was the question?
What's the job you want to go do?
So I want to either do school counseling or be a social worker.
Excellent. And what do you do now?
I'm a research assistant right now in cardiology.
A cardiology research assistant.
Yeah.
So here's what I would do if I were you. Well, George, tell her the sad news.
The sad news is I would not take out any more student loans, and you'll move at the speed of cash.
Get out now.
Ever. I know.
Which means this may be a 2-year journey instead of a now journey.
Or let me tell you what might happen. So let's do this. Let's say from this point forward, Tanisha is a person who never borrows money. It's just not on the table. This is not who I am. What that means is now Tanisha is a person who figures crap out. I will figure this out. My first bachelor's degree, master's degree, and PhD, all loans. Same with my wife. Mm-hmm. 6 figures, lots. Then we said, never again. And so in my next job, they had a benefit where I could get one class. And then I went and said, hey, I got these professional development. You pay to send me to a conference every year. What if instead of going to that conference, that dollar amount's about the same as a class? Can I trade you for that? And my boss was like, yeah, that's fantastic. And I said, it would be more of a benefit. That's great. And so I would love to see you go apply at hospitals that might pay for you to go get a social work degree, that might pay for you to go get nursing, or might pay for you to go, that is going to support you in that journey, not make you go into more and more and more debt. I would love to see you get on the phone and see if you can make that happen. I think you can find that place.
I'm afraid of that, though.
I know.
Because I don't know if they're going to help.
Are you more afraid of being told no, or are you more afraid of being completely chained to debt?
It's a worst case scenario that they say, no, we can't do that. And you go, all right.
All right. Well, cool. Shake it off. Have fun.
So what's it going to cost to go to an affordable program in your area or online?
If I go to community college, it'll be like $33. If I go to a private school like Liberty, it'll be like $37.
So $33,000 total.
Wait, hold on. $33,000
at a community college?
Yes.
You are out of your mind. It is not right.
I'm not kidding. I did it.
Well, master's degree. They don't have master's degree at community college.
Well, the one that where I am, there is a master's degree for school counseling. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If I were you, I'd get on the phone with local school districts who are so desperate for mental health professionals and teachers, and I would see if there's a possibility that they would hire you and help you get credentialed.
Really? At a school? I never thought of that.
100% yes. Like, schools are struggling all over the country to keep people. And you might have to leave D.C. because D.C. is really, really, really expensive.
Yeah, I stay with my parents, so
I know.
I can't even afford to be on my own.
Well, it may be time to start looking across this great country and figuring out another place to go. But again, since you're a person who never borrows money, you're a person who has to figure it out. And figuring it out means we have to do stuff that we didn't plan on or want to or think that would be great. But that's what we're going to do because we don't borrow money. That's just who we are. We choose freedom over everything else.
How much more debt do you have left?
I have $65,000 in student loans.
And what was the degree in that you got?
Sociology.
Okay. And that's all of your debt?
That's all of my debt. I just paid off my credit card a couple of months ago.
Awesome. And what are you making?
Combined with both jobs, about $50,000.
Okay.
That's after my paying taxes and everything. At least that's what I made last year.
And living with your parents, your expenses are super low?
Yeah, I pay like $300 on rent right now.
That is a blessing. Let's take advantage of that. Knock this debt out as fast as we can and then cash flow the most affordable program that we can do. And like John said, there's so many ways, and it's going to be, you're going to get super creative and go, oh my gosh, I had no clue that they would be willing to pay for my education.
And see if you can find an online program. I know. Hey, here's why. Because we love you. And here's the other reason. I don't want you to put $36,000 of debt on top of the $65,000 you already have, and then owe $100,000 to $110,000 making $60,000 as a social worker. You know why? Because I know them. Those are my friends, and they can't breathe.
And it takes the fun out of social work and the dream that you had.
There's not a lot of fun in social work.
Now it becomes, I got to pay the bills. How am I going to do this?
You can't serve somebody else. You can't save somebody from, you can't pull them out of the ocean when you're drowning.
True.
Right? And so my friends who are mental health professionals, and it's almost my entire community, who owe crazy amounts of money, they can't breathe. Don't add yourself to that number. Love those future clients enough to go in with non-anxiously. I don't owe any money. Now I can really jump all in.
I'm George Camel, joined by Dr. John Deloney. You're listening to The Ramsey Show. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Mariella joins us up next in Lexington, Kentucky. Mariella, welcome to the show.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. How can we help today?
Well, there's a ton of things, but the main concern right now is my husband has been lying to me, and we've been working through baby step number 2, but he's been hiding like financial purchases that are really big or
how is he hiding them?
Well, this past week I found out that the vehicle that we have been paying hundreds of dollars in this month, over $1,000 in repairs, he had put a lien on it several months ago, so we couldn't even scrap it this month, which we're down to one car now. And so that was one of the bigger lies recently.
Why did he put a lien on his own car?
He told me...
Did he borrow against it? Like the equity out of his car?
That's my understanding. Like he got a certain amount of money, and then this is when we were starting to work together on the baby steps. He said that we paid off some things using that money, because I was asking him, where did it go? Like, why would you do that? But he said he didn't feel like we had any money. And
so he went to one of those payday lenders who said, we'll give you $3,000, but I'm holding the title of your car.
Like a Title Max, looks like an old Pizza Hut, one of those places.
I just learned all of this not very long ago. And so we had also had like similar things happen in our relationship. Like with Lowe's, he spent thousands that I didn't know about there. Too.
At Lowe's?
Yes.
What's he buying?
Well, I talked to them not too long ago because I received something in the mail. That was how I found out in the first place. Was the cards was originally primarily in my name because this was way like years ago when we first got married. We got a washer and dryer. Then recently, like he purchased a lawnmower that was for him to use at his grandparents' house. And it was like $6,000, and I didn't even know he bought it. And then, but that's almost paid off. That's the promotional purchase. And there's about $9,000 in just random, less than $299 items. They told me.
We need to come to Jesus meeting tonight, and we say everything gets put on the table.
Hold on,
every bank account.
I would say, George,
every
before that, walk her through how she can pull her credit report and find out what's out there.
Yeah, you can pull your credit report for free annually, and it'll tell you every piece of debt that is owed to your name. And he needs to do the same.
Here's what I think, Mariella. Can I just be honest with you? I don't want to be alarmist, but I can be honest with you. Okay. I think this is real bad, is what I think. And either he is a bumbling goofball of a ding-dong who just is walking through life like a three-legged turtle, or he is a very deceitful person who is spending money on all kinds of things and lying to his wife's face. And when that happens, it's very rare that they're not hiding some sort of addiction or some sort of other person in the relationship. And I'm not telling you that to freak you out. I'm just telling you this is what we do for a living. It is rare that somebody just keeps blowing up money and spending $6,000 for a mower for your grandparent. What are you doing? You know what I mean? I mean, that's just madness. And that tells me there's somebody who's out of control.
If it's okay, I was just going to tell you the backstory to that was kind of his, he lost his grandfather, who was essentially his father figure. Mm-hmm. A couple years back, and I think part of it is like in his mind he feels responsible to take care of things for her.
Totally get that.
So I think that's kind of where that came from, and I was getting to where I could forgive that, and we were working together, I thought. So now I'm at square one again because I'm like, you tell me you're telling me the truth, and then you're not.
Well,
and I don't know what
but
to
there's
do.
also a difference between I need to take care of my grandmother and I have to spit on and completely dishonor my wife. You don't have to do one to do the other. I can completely honor my grandmother and get on Craigslist and buy me a mower that barely runs that will get the work done.
She did have a push mower, I believe. It's just...
I know. Here's the thing. How long y'all been together?
5 years, approximately.
At some point, and that doesn't have to be today, at some point you're going to have to stop defending him because you've been defending him for a long, long time, right?
Right.
You have an answer for everything I'm calling out. And George and I are both husbands. We know how this game works.
Mm-hmm.
But you keep defending him so you can defend him all you want till the end of time. But you can't breathe right now, and George and I can both hear it.
He's broken your trust, and that is the foundation for any relationship. And it's going to take a long time to repair, and it's going to take even longer if he continues to make these financial mistakes without talking to you. And even if he explains it, you get a vote. And right now, you haven't had a vote in this relationship, have you? It's always been him going, well, you don't understand. I'll figure it out. I got it. Don't worry about it. And you're going along with it, right?
Well, before he had like complete control over everything money-wise because I didn't have a job because I had two small kids.
No,
but now
that's not. Hold on, he doesn't get the money because you don't have a job. My wife stays at home. She works some, but she stays at home, and we do this thing together. That's not a reason.
Well, now it's not that way, and he did come to a point where he said, "Okay, you have a turn and you try it. Like, he wanted to let me see if I could do a better job, because we both knew it wasn't working with him making the financial decisions. So
he's been in the driver's seat long enough, and he's been crashing the car. In fact, he got rid of the car.
And then he handed the keys to you, and he crashed another one. He went and bought another one on credit. Hey, George was right. George is 100%. Tonight, this ends. Tonight, you have to look across the table and say, you've been committing financial infidelity. You're violating our vows. You are cheating on me. And I think we get really obsessive in our culture about fidelity being one thing and one thing only, and it's intimacy with somebody else. And I think fidelity is my commitment to you. I'm all in, is way bigger than that. He's cheating on you. He's stealing from you. He's lying to you. And at some point, you got to say, hopefully it's tonight, you put a piece of paper down and you say, this ends right now. How much money have you borrowed in our family's name? How much do we owe, and where is it? Because, man, you made that one call to Lowe's, and you made that one other call over here, and you found out a whole litany of things.
You shouldn't have to call Lowe's to figure out what your husband has been up to.
No, he should be able to pull out the statement and hand it to you. Here's how bad it is. But how dare he? You take a turn at the money, and they keep borrowing more money. That's wild.
And I was going to say, I asked him the other day, like, those kinds of questions. Are you cheating on me? Or what other money has been borrowed, and that sort of thing. And he did mention another credit card, not like thousands or anything. It was like $300 or something. But
at this point, I don't trust him. I want to see his credit report.
Well, I don't either, so I don't know what to do.
I tell him to bring his credit report to the table.
Both go to annualcreditreport.com. You can pull it for free. Both of you have to pull that. We're going to look at this thing with a fine-tooth comb, lay out a plan, and go, if you're not on board, this is not going to work.
We have to have a different conversation.
No more lies. You cannot continue this relationship on a throne of lies. It will not work. So I'm wishing you the best, Marielle, but you got some work cut out for you. I'm so sorry you're going through this. This is The Ramsey Show. Welcome back to The Ramsey Show. I'm George Camel, joined by Dr. John Deloney. Well, folks, your chance to win $3,000, it ends today. That's right. All month long, we've been asking you one question. What would you do with an extra $3,000? Whether that means paying off debt, putting a little extra toward your investments, paying off the house early, or planning something fun for your family, make sure you enter the Ramsey Cash Giveaway. Today is the last chance to enter to win the final $3,000 grand prize. And yes, real people win this thing. And it's some of the most fun our team has is getting to contact them to let them know. And it could not be easier to enter. All you got to do is go to RamseySolutions.com/giveaway. It'll take you less than 15 seconds to enter. And it's probably the easiest money you could ever win. Even easier than crypto, John. I've heard it's real easy.
There's no such thing that's easier than crypto. Crypto will save us all.
Well, here's the best part. There's no purchase necessary. You don't have to buy any crypto, which is so great. And you do have to be 18 or older to win. Sorry, kids. Tell mom and dad. So hurry up. Enter the Ramsey Cash Giveaway today before it ends. RamseySolutions.com/giveaway. Let's go to the phones. Alyssa joins us in Fresno. Alyssa, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Sure. What's going on?
My question is, my husband and I are on baby steps 2 and 4, and we paid off all of our debt.
Hold on. Whoa, I'm confused.
Hold up.
2, is it 2 or 4? How is it both?
We're on 2.
Okay.
We were on 4, then we bought a car. So.
Okay.
Alyssa, what are you doing?
Okay. I know. So here's my question.
You're like, I know. All right. Next.
Kicking myself, but we're enjoying the car. So We'll get there. Here's my question. We own a home here in California, and my husband recently was given a job opportunity about 2 hours away at the coast, which would be fantastic for his career, for a stepping stone, future job, advancement, things like that. Obviously, the cost of living at the beach is much, much higher than where we are now. But the quality of life we would have there would be way better than what we have now, I would say. We have some family in the area over there, and the climate is much better. Is it wise to keep our house as a rental here and move over there knowing that the potential is there for a long-term rental with, like, very little chance of actually owning property?
So you're saying we won't be able to afford a house, so we're just going to rent in the new location, keep ours as a rental?
Yes, with the potential of, like, moving back here to retire someday.
I don't like making that big of a decision based off the potential for something.
Yeah. Do you own your house right now, or are you still renting it? I mean, you still have a mortgage on it.
We still have a mortgage, yeah.
Yeah.
So how much equity do you have?
I would sell it, yeah.
We have about 165 in equity.
What's it worth?
$450.
Okay. So you got a big old mortgage on this thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what if we sold it and we got out of debt and we had our emergency fund and we began to save up for a down payment in this new location and started planting roots there? Or
that's our other option. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't keep it and be a long distance landlord, because right now you guys are already broke. And now what if it needs a new roof or the HVAC goes out? You're 2 hours away and you have to pay up 10, 15 grand for these repairs.
Yeah, I see.
It went from a blessing to, oh my gosh, why did we do this? We thought it was a good idea.
Yeah, I would sell that and cut your ties. And if this job is incredible, then it makes all the sense in the world. It sounds like, and by the way, it sounds like you're going. It just sounds like, I mean, you gave me all the reasons why you should go. So y'all are going. I would go in with our eyes wide open. And George just said something really important. I don't want you to miss it. Don't go into it saying, we can never do. You can. You might have to squash this beach lifestyle for 3 or 4 years and really save and really scratch and really claw. But you can. You can. 100% you can.
He's getting a raise, right?
Yes.
And I imagine, the cost of living's higher, but you're also going to have a higher income. So
are you going to work?
Yeah. Yes. So I work here, and I could continue to work remotely.
What's your new household income going to be?
It would probably be $8,800 a month. So.
That would be your take-home pay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then what would your rent be?
Probably about $3,500.
That's a lot of rent.
I know.
So my goal would be, let's get in a home when it makes sense, and that means a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage where the payment's no more than a quarter of our take-home pay. And so that means you've got to get that mortgage down below $3,000 for this to make sense, which means saving up more down payment. Are we talking like $1 million for a condo over there? What's the going rate?
Yeah, probably $800 for a condo or $1 million for a house.
Okay. So this might mean we got to get our income up ASAP, and we're going to live on less than we make. We're going to put away 10, 20, 30 grand a year towards this down payment, 50 grand a year towards this down payment. And in a few years, we're going to be able to get a house there. And it may be a condo or a townhome because you're living in one of the most expensive areas of the nation. But you don't get a pass on math, which is unfortunate. I wish, because we get so many people who live in big cities, expensive cities, and they go, this plan doesn't work. I'm like, it's especially not going to work if you avoid it and do what you want to do and your rent is half of your income.
So
right,
that's the important thing. You can. It's just going to take sacrifice. And the question you'll have to ask yourself is, do you want to live the beach life and go to the shows and go to all these things and do rad stuff and buy depreciating assets with borrowed money? Do you want to be those? Or like, no, we want to buy a house. And so we're willing to sacrifice for 5 years. We're going to live kind of low key and we're going to do free things on the beach because it's so stunning and beautiful, because we have one goal, and that's we're going to buy a house. Man, you could do that. You can do that. It's just going to come at a cost. The same as it's going to come at a cost if y'all choose to play and party and have fun. It's going to come at a cost of you're never going to own a home. And half of your income is going to be taken up with rent, making somebody else rich. So you got a choice either way. I know the choice that I think would be wiser over the long haul.
For sure. Thanks for the call. Let's get a quick one in here from Robert in Syracuse. Robert, what's going on?
Robert!
Thanks so much for taking my call. Hi, guys.
Hey.
What up?
Okay, I'll try to make this quick. I'm a father and father of 4 children, husband. The first 5 years of our lives, we lived by ourselves in a little tiny hovel in upstate New York. I worked for the church. I expected never to make too much because the situation we were in, it was a decision we made so that we can serve the church, and we expected there to be very little when it came to money. 5 years into the marriage, our parents moved into the area, and they bought a house, and they offered for us to move in and enjoy the benefits of a multi-generational household, especially as our kids were getting older and we were homeschooling. And it seemed like a really good idea at the time. And for the first few years, it went really well. Recently, though, there's been a lot more tension, and especially the 2 women in the household about who's going to be head mom. And
bro, move out. Robert, move out.
This is your wife and your mother-in-law. Your mom.
Move out.
So her mother.
My mom and my wife. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, move out.
Yeah, I mean that was the question.
You got to find a place to live.
It would mean saving up for a while, though. Because
it doesn't. It means you may have to reconsider because you've created a life. You've got 4 kids.
Yeah.
Y'all created a world that cost X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
And you want to serve. You want to work at small, rural, or underprivileged, underserved churches, which is noble and good. But you've created a world where at this time in your life, that's not possible.
Yeah.
Because you got 4 kids. So it doesn't mean you're going to put this on for a long, long time because you got 4 kids growing up in tension so thick they can't breathe.
Yeah.
And so it might mean you got to take another job. That might mean you got to leave upstate New York where it's expensive to live and find another place to live.
It might mean we got bunk beds stacked to the ceiling and it's a big old party in there.
Well, we have that already. Good.
Hey,
they're used to it.
You need to sit down with your wife this weekend. Y'all go out together. Y'all make a plan, but you got to get out of there and y'all got to make some hard decisions, not about what you want to do, but what you got to do with the reality that you have created for yourselves.
Thanks for the call, Robert. This is The Ramsey Show. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day comes from Luke 6:27 and 28. But to you who are listening, I say, love your enemies, do good to those who hate you, bless those who curse you, pray for those who mistreat you. Benjamin Franklin said, love your enemies, for they tell you your faults.
Hey, before we go take a call, I want to, George, go back to that last caller because I know we're going to get some internet grief about it. I think we have it's a cultural problem where we've been told, follow your passions. We've been told, have kids. We've been told you need to buy a house. You've been told you should get a raise just for showing up. We've been told a bunch of things that if you lay them all out and do them all, they don't work. It doesn't work. There's not a unified path forward. And so I've tried over the last decade to figure out what is that path then, and I keep coming back to this starting line over and over and over, which is you have to choose reality, the reality that sits before you. And that reality might be, I'm terrible at basketball. It's not in the cards for me. It's not going to happen. And I can work and work and work and work. It's not going to happen. It's okay. It's all right. It could be so you put a book in front of me and I just want to pull both of my eyeballs out of my head, right? Fine. you're probably not going to be a content writer. And so if you have dreams of being a writer and you hate reading and you don't like practicing writing, you have to start with reality. If you've got 4 kids or 6 kids and you want to be a person of service, you've created a world that you can't afford, right? So you go back to the New Testament, Paul says, if you have a wife, if you got kids, your allegiance has to be to them. It can't be to this other thing, right? So I think for everybody I want this, but I've got this, a starting place to being well and building wealth over the long term is being honest about where you are right now. That's why Dave says, pull out one sheet of paper and write down all your debts, smallest to largest. That is choosing reality, right? That's why a mental health professional, when you sit in and they say, how can I help you today, right now? And you lay it out there. The doctor says, where does it hurt right now? You got to start with reality. Otherwise, you just end up all over the place, man. It's untethered feeling. I want this, but I can't have that. And then you end up with 4 kids stacked to the ceiling on bunk beds in your parents' house, and your wife and your mother about to stab each other to death, right? And dad listens to murder podcasts. They'll never find the body. The whole thing's a mess. All because, hey, we have to be honest about the world we've created for ourselves, and we wanted to do Job X. It's not going to happen. We've got to go. I got to go work in IT. I got to start a yard business, whatever it is, because this is my reality.
And that's not a pessimistic or cynical take.
No, it's freedom. It's freedom. It's freedom.
And if you live in New York City, but you also really want to be a homeowner, it might mean you have to leave New York City.
You know what I'm not? Brad Pitt. The chances of me being a lead romantic interest in a movie, 0. So I can spend all that angst and all that energy, all that fighting, or I can try to become the best character actor of all time. You know what I mean? I can own reality and be the best at that thing. You just hit on something important. You and I both talk to young people who they just moved to New York. I'm just going to live there. I'm going to do this. And they find themselves living in a 3-foot by 1-foot coffin that's a closet with a full kitchen and a bathroom and a bed in it. And they're paying $11,000 a month for it. And they can't move. And you just got to back up and go, what life? And they want a yard and a dog too. What? You got to choose reality. I don't know if I could stamp that on if I could tattoo that on every person I come in contact with, I think we'd have a healthier world.
Well, and the sooner that anyone, whether they're young or old, the sooner you realize that, the less resentment you'll have later on in life.
Yes.
When you look back and go, oh my gosh, I wasted so much time, and if I just had known, and if I just made that move. So the sooner you can look in that mirror with full reality, the good, the bad, the ugly, the sooner you can make the right path forward.
Exactly.
That's a good word. All right, let's go to the phones. Joshua joins us in Greensboro, North Carolina. Joshua, welcome to the show.
Hello, Mr. Delay, Mr. Campbell. It's a pleasure to speak to both of y'all.
You too. What's going on?
Yeah. I have a question. My parents are offering me a car or to buy from them. I just got my license like a week ago. I'm 17, and they're offering me, it's a 2003 Dodge Durango. It's been very well taken care of and everything. They're offering it to me for $1,500, and that's like a deal I don't think you see on cars these days. It's a great deal, but I do have some problems with buying it. Financially, it's a great buy, but I was just wondering, and I do have like some money history with my parents of just like stuff that's happened, and I'm wondering, should I just put that all aside and buy this car since it's a really good deal, or like what I should do?
What do you mean money history? Are there strings attached if you buy this car?
Yeah, like I'm afraid that if I buy this car, it's gonna like come back to bite me later.
Tell me what that means.
Like,
what has happened in the past? What's happened in the past that makes you think that will happen in the future?
I've had problems with my bank account. Like, I have my own bank account, and I've had my parents go in it before without telling me and taking money out of it. They have replenished it. They did put it back, and I told them directly, I do not mind if they take money out of my bank account. If they put it back, I just want to know so I know where my money is.
Hey, Joshua, what happened to you is not right. I'm sorry. Mom and dad shouldn't steal money out of their kids' accounts.
And like I said, it's not a big deal.
Hold on. It's a huge deal. You're talking to a current parent, and George is about to be parents. We're not going to take money from our kids. We're not going to steal from our kids. It is a big deal, and it hurts when it happens. It scared you, didn't it?
And it violated the trust that you have with them.
So you're learning a valuable lesson right now that I hope you never lose, because all of the world around you is going to try to take this from you. And that is Joshua's trust in Joshua. That feeling in your gut. This deal is amazing. And I don't think it's right. So one of my rules of thumb, one of my rules of life is, George and I were just talking about, I have a guy. And that's not a gendered thing. It's like I've got a friend, and she's a cancer researcher. If I have a question, I call her. Why? She's brilliant. I got a friend who is a trauma counselor. If I got a question, I call her. Got a buddy who's a banker. I don't even think about it. But at the same time, I don't do any sort of business ever with people I don't trust. Period. Even if it's the deal of a century. Because like you said, it will come back and bite you. I think you know the answer, and I think it breaks your heart that your parents have put you in this position that you can't even take a great deal because they're not trustworthy. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Well, what'll happen is, and I think you smell this coming down the road, is they say, hold on, no, we need money. We gave you a deal on that car. That car was worth $5,000. So really, you still owe us $3,500.
Or they take it back when you're going to college. Like, we need that car. We need our car back.
Our car broke down. That was really our car. We gave you such a deal. It's not really yours. Right. You can tell these situations.
You know what's going to happen, right, Josh?
That's what I'm afraid of.
And that's the exact reason why you shouldn't do this.
Yeah, and dude, I hate this for you. The one twist might be if you got something in writing. And I understand how incredibly difficult that would be. But if you sat down with your mom or dad and said, it really scared me and it broke my heart when you took money out of my account and it made me lose trust. It scared me. And I'm afraid I'm going to buy this car and you guys are going to do something else like that again in the future. And I got some wisdom from some guys who see families hurt each other all the time. And I'd like you to put in writing move the title into my name. This is my car. And put in writing, I'm selling this car to my son for $1,500 and he owns the title to it so they can't come take it back from you. If you want to have that conversation, then I'd entertain it. But that's a really tough conversation for a 17-year-old to have. May just be best to say, thanks, Mom, but no thanks.
That puts this hour of The Ramsey Show in the books. My thanks to John Deloney, my co-host, all the folks in the booth keeping the show afloat, and you, America. Thank you for listening. Until next time, spend wisely, save intentionally, and give generously. Hey, it's George Camel. If you like what you heard in this episode and want to know more about getting started on the Ramsey baby steps, go to RamseySolutions.com and click on the Get Started button. We'll help you figure out the best next step for you based on your specific situation. That's RamseySolutions.com and click Get Started.